Stop creating content. Stop creating content. Stop creating content. You heard me right. A lot of people come on here and their whole thing is making videos that are quote unquote content. But what are they really trying to do, right? In my opinion, I think that this whole direction that we've been going in for the last few years of being content creators and putting on a show for people on the internet is just not productive. You know, it lends itself to being inauthentic. It lends itself to being unrelatable. And my new philosophy after doing this for 3 years is to not create content. I'm done creating content. What y'all call content. If we're gonna go ahead and quote the Boozy Tube era. Um, I just think that in the big 2025, people are tired of content. People are tired of the content creators that come on here with the fake voice. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. Like, we're tired of that. We want to see real, authentic people just being themselves and talking about things that they're passionate about, right? That's what I miss. I miss that about YouTube. I remember when I was younger, when YouTube was coming up, you could go on YouTube and you could find people talking about any topic. They didn't have a crazy production value. They didn't have an expensive setup, crazy mics, lighting, editing, none of that stuff. They were just being themselves. They would just come on, talk, and turn off the camera and upload it. Real authentic content. And I think we need to go back to that. We need to go back to being really creative and really authentic, really, really relatable to the audience. And I think we really strayed away from it, to be honest, with this whole content creator. What is content? That's the problem. What is content? So many people want to come on here and they want to portray a fake lifestyle that they're not even living. Making videos about topics they're not even passionate about just because of the algorithm, just to make money. And I think that the viewers can sense that, right? The viewers can sense when people are coming on to the platform just trying to grift. And a lot of people accuse me of grifting. I will tell you right now, I, for the most part, come on here and I try to be as real as I can be. Now, I'm not going to lie. In my live streams, sometimes I spice it up. Sometimes I'll say something to be a little bit funny or ironic or eye-catching. But for the most part, I'm just being my true, authentic self. I'm not trying to finagle it. I'm not trying to fake it. I'm not trying to put on a show. I'm just trying to be myself. And that's what we need to get back to, right? And I think this goes back to my second point here. If you're just being yourself, if you just come on and you make content about things that you're already familiar with, you just give people your honest opinions, you're going to be less stressed out, right? You'll be less stressed out about what you post because you're not trying to do anything extra. You're not trying to pretend to be something you're not. You're not trying to put on a show. You're not overthinking what you're portraying to your audience. You're not even worried about having an audience. You're just trying to be yourself. And I would be lying to you if I said that I don't struggle with this as well. I think every person who comes on a platform and makes videos, they struggle with this whole acceptance of the audience and trying to get some validation. But it depends on how you're doing it, right? Are you doing it because it truly makes you happy, or are you doing it just to grift and make a bag? And I think that's really where the decision-making process of why am I trying to make quote unquote content? Why am I coming on here? Why am I making videos every day? What am I trying to accomplish? And if you're doing it inauthentically, I would argue that you're going to be stressed out. You're not going to know what to talk about. You're not going to know what kind of content to make. You're going to be lost in the sauce. And no matter how many times other people explain to you the process of making a video and talking your mind, you're not going to grasp what they're trying to say because you truly aren't passionate. I strongly believe that there are people that are built for this, and there are people who are not. And when I say built for this, I don't mean built for it because they have some innate talent or they're funny or they're interesting. No, I just mean that they have the talent of being themselves in front of the camera. I've talked with some other content creators or well, people who want to create videos on YouTube. And I've heard them say that they don't know what to do, what kind of videos to make. They're just lost in the sauce. I think that the reason they're lost in the sauce is because they're trying to put on a persona. They're trying to play a character. And I know I'm struggling here to land the plane, but what I'm trying to say is you need to stop doing that. Stop trying to create content. Just be yourself. The content is you. The content is your passion, your personality. Stop trying to gamify the algorithm. There is no shortcut. You just got to be yourself. And if yourself, the person who you really are, is something that people relate to, people can identify with, then you will get an audience. And if not, who cares? Because you're still having fun, right? That's how you have to see it. You're still having fun. You're doing what you love. I would hope. I mean, I hope you're not coming on here and making videos just because somebody else influenced you to do that. I really do. I really do. Because that's when you start to actually have fun, right? You start to actually have fun instead of industrializing the process when you start to be yourself. When you can just come on here and say whatever, you don't care. You know, sometimes in life, you got to let go. You got to go with the train. And even I struggle with this, guys. Even I struggle with going with the flow. Just relaxing, jumping on to the platform and making whatever video and not worrying about what people think or say, not worrying about the comments. You know, just think about it like a party. You're going to a party. Are you going to go to the party to have fun and be yourself? Or are you going to the party to put on a show? Because the same dynamic applies here, right? If you're going to the party to be fun and be yourself, you kind of don't care. You can throw on any outfit. You can jump out. You can laugh. You can make yourself the butt of the joke. You don't care. But if you're going to the party to put on a persona and impress other people, you are going to be worried. You're going to be stressed out. The whole experience becomes something unfun, in my opinion. You're going to the party to pretend to be somebody you're not. The whole experience becomes stressful. It becomes inauthentic. And the thing is that people can sense that too. The people around you, they can sense that. They look at you and they say, this guy, I don't know, he rubs me the wrong way. This is how I think you need to think about the video making process, the quote unquote being a YouTuber. It's just, you got to think about it like a party. You're pulling up to a party. Are you going to be your true self? Or are you going to be a fake person? Are you going to be relatable or are you going to be unrelatable? Are you going to be authentic or are you going to be fake? You know? And if you're going to be fake, how fake are you going to be? How deep does this rabbit hole go? I don't know. I don't want to know. What I do think is that the Mr. Beastification of YouTube has ruined the platform. Everybody wants to do these insane over-the-top videos. And I miss the old days. I miss the days where you could just catch somebody jumping on here just yapping, you know, just talking about their day. Whatever happened to just talking about your day? Everybody's trying to put on this persona. Everybody's trying to talk fast, make a voice, pretend like they're actors, have the crazy editing, over the top retention editing, a bunch of SEO titles, clickbait, rage bait, hate farming. It's getting out of hand. And I really do think, I mean, if you're going to take something away from this video, take this one thing away, that you're going to have more fun if you're just jumping on here and just talking about whatever you want to talk about, doing whatever you want to do without worrying about the consequences. You're going to have a lot more fun. My problem with content today is that it's become industrialized. You know, the whole process of making videos, the whole process of video essays or streams or news reactions, I think every single niche suffers from this. It's become industrialized. For those of you guys who don't know, if you go to my channel, you go to my library, you go to the old videos, you'll see I had a bunch of videos making vlogs, car vlogs. I had a supercar, a McLaren 570S that I managed to total somehow. And I was making car vlogs, and those videos got a decent amount of views, but the whole process was industrialized, completely inauthentic. Now, could I have made a different type of car vlog, could I have approached that from a different angle? Maybe. Instead of being a DDE Savage Garage clone, perhaps. But these are lessons you learn with time, right? These are lessons you learn with time. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm no guru. I'm no expert. I just wanted to give you guys some advice. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. What's your opinion on this whole quote unquote content creation era? Are we losing the sauce? And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, turn on notifications, and make sure you tune into my streams. I stream every single day, 6:30 p.m. Catch y'all later, man. Stay safe, guys. I'm out.